What's happening, everybody? Today we're going to be making a Ashitaba and basil pesto. This is a raw vegan plant-based recipe. I know you're going to love it. So before we jump into it, let's go head out to the garden and harvest some fresh ingredients. Starting off with the Ashitaba. This ingredient is hard to find at the stores. You're probably not going to find it at any stores, so you need to grow this plant. If you happen to not have Ashitaba, you can still make this recipe just using basil. But we're going to harvest some Ashitaba and got a nice handful. Just the leaves is all we need for the recipe. And we're going to get some basil as well. We've got different basil growing in the garden. So I'm going to get some of this Kapoor Tulsi basil. And we're mainly looking to harvest the leaves, but you can also harvest the flowers and throw them into the recipe too. It's just a milder flavor. And we're also going to harvest some of this sweet basil. This is one of the best basils for making pesto. It smells so good. Now let's go head over to the garlic I've got drying and harvest a bulb of garlic. We're just going to use a couple cloves, maybe 3 cloves. I really love garlic. Alright, so now we're back in the kitchen. Here's what we got. It's approximately about 2 cups total once we take the larger stems out. So I'm just quickly going through and taking the stems out of both the Ashitaba and the larger stems out of the basil as well. And we'll just give this a quick wash. And there we have it, fresh, dry basil and Ashitaba ready to go. And we're going to be using a food processor to combine today's ingredients using an S blade. And along with the Ashitaba and basil, we got the juice of half of 1 small lemon. We got about a half tablespoon of Himalayan salt, about a half tablespoon of freshly ground pepper, 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. I'm using 3 because I love garlic. A half cup of extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed, and about 1/3 cup of nutritional yeast, which is going to add a nice cheesy flavor. We're also going to be throwing in here a half a cup of macadamia nuts, and I let these soak prior for a couple hours, which is going to help to neutralize the enzyme inhibitors in the nuts. And one of the main reasons I love to use the macadamia, other than the wonderful flavor, is that it only needs a short amount of time when soaking, unlike some of these other larger nuts or skin nuts like almonds, which need 12 to 24 hours. But feel free to use other nuts if you choose. Cashews are also great, almonds are great, walnuts are good. And it's important after you let the nuts soak to thoroughly rinse them off until the water runs clear. Alright, so step 1, we're going to add the largest ingredients that need the most chopping down. So the Ashitaba, the basil, of course the macadamia nuts, and also the garlic. And we're just going to pulse the machine rather than allow it to run on full speed. We want a nice chunky mix. We don't want it to get too smooth. Now we're going to turn the machine on low as we pour in the half a cup of extra virgin olive oil. And then we'll immediately turn the machine back off, as not to overblend. Now we can add the rest of the ingredients, the lime juice, the Himalayan salt, the crushed black pepper, and the nutritional yeast. Now we'll just put the machine back together and once again pulse the machine until we got a nice thick consistency. And it can be very helpful to take the lid off and scrape around the inside of the food processor with a spatula just to make sure we get everything blended together nicely. And we'll give this a couple more hits with the pulse button. And there we are. And I tell you, this smells so good, so fresh. Having all those homegrown ingredients really makes all the difference with this recipe. And I'm going to be enjoying this pesto today with some homemade chia chips that I made in the food dehydrator. These were dehydrated at 115 degrees, so these are also raw, all vegan, plant-based, loaded with protein and nutrients. What a great combo this is. Now that's on point. Well, that's going to do it for now, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please remember to subscribe to the channel. A lot more plant-based recipes to come. So with that, have yourself a great day, and I'll be talking to you again soon.